Hey people, it's me again. So, anyways, I watched a little bit of Romanian TV's video that he just premiered a while ago, as far as it goes. So, anyways, um, it was one of the things that he was talking about was more about pointing out the hypocrisy when it comes to the the right as far as that goes, because there was some guy that had a blog post where he said he was like fired from his job because of his conservative beliefs and all, and yet he was also making like these sort of posts about wanting to ban porn of all things, but it was just one of those little things again where it is like nothing new of that sort, you know. Because after all, I mean, I'm I'm a millennial in a way, early millennial at that point there, and so I could remember, when conservatives were a bit censorious in nature of that sort, and especially when it came to um, a lot of that in the 90s, I think, you know. But it wasn't really just that, but I think there was also at the same time, that the left was also a bit PC in some ways, but it was more out of the fact that when Clinton became president, and then that was like the whole height of that whole PC era of some sort. And then, but I don't think I actually even remember um, the Republicans and the right being anti that way just for the sake of opposition and all that, you know. But they really ratchet up on the censoriousness, you know, around the whole Bush Bush 2 years as far as that goes, and that was like the case if I recall correctly, because I even remember at one point where, and I think this is back when I was living in Dallas at one point, and where they had the movie Saving Private Ryan there, and I think they cut a significant portion out of it because of the violence, as far as like the gun battles and all of that during that movie, and that was one of the things I could remember there, you know, where my mom was complaining about that sort of thing there, and then there was at one point, I don't know. I think it was on one of those message boards or something like that, and and we're it was like right after Bush had won re-election there, and then where it was kind of like how it was back, just last year, when Trump had won. There were all these type of conservatives who would revel because of, you know, that now they could try to like turn back the proverbial clock of that sort, as far as, you know, especially what happened in the last couple of years, the loss of Roe v. Wade, and now they could do the whole thing with Valley Hodges, and, and then possibly like other stuff of that sort, but in a way, it was like a lot of people will draw like the whole parallels to, A Handmaid's Tale and all of that. If anybody had read the books or saw the movie and the TV series of that sort, and that's just one of those little things. You know what I mean? And so it has always been, in some ways, that the right can be just as censorious as the left can be, you know. And it's kind of like what I had said years ago, that the the right was only anti censorship because the left was the one wielding the power to censor people, unperson people, and all of that, And then, now that everything's shifting, you know, bit towards the right, and now they're the ones that are now becoming power hungry and then wanting to censor people left and right, possibly unperson people and all of that, you know, as far as that goes, But in a way, it's like if anybody had ever really read George Orwell's 1984 and all, then they would have to think that the whole I forgot the name of the political party again, but it is never really was leftist or rightist. It was mainly authoritarian, right down the middle of the political uh, the the political compass as far as that goes. You know, it was never really like authoritarian left or authoritarian right, for that matter, and that is kind of what I think weren't George Orwell was trying to warn us about in the first place. Yeah, and after all, it's like there were certain vernacular in the book, in the movie, that we still use, as far as like one person, double speak, and all of that, you know. So that is just one little thing that I have to kind of point out here. So, anyways, guess that's probably it. So, talk to you guys later.